Hi, it's Linda from Linda's Paperworks. Today I'm going to do Prompt 8 in Junk Journal July from Meg at Meg Journals. And the prompt is wallpaper. Not too long ago, my husband and I found some wallpaper that was rolled up in a box out in our garage. It belonged to his mother. And it still is very rolled up. But this is one of the pieces. There were several different patterns. And this one is probably, I'm guessing 50s on that, maybe, or 40s, I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to use some of her wallpaper in my prompt today, and I'm going to put it on this page, which is a page out of the old encyclopedia that I coffee dyed, and it has some pink on there, but that's not going to matter because I think that's going to all get covered up. And I'm going to use some lace, and these two pieces of wallpaper, which are currently very curled up, so I hope that goes away. But I thought this was really interesting on this one. It says in this point, the margin, I guess is what you call that, join and trim. So I thought I'm going to leave those words on there. I just think that would be fun. And then this other piece of wallpaper is, it's got a subtle stripe in behind that pattern, which is diamond shapes over all of it. Anyway, so let's get started, and I hope that you're having a good day and doing some crafting too. I'm going to put that under the edge and kind of hopefully hold it out while I'm doing that. First thing I'm going to do is put this lace on the edge of this page. So I'm going to use Fabri-Tac to do that. And I'm just going to put the glue down here on the edge, as usual. And I'm going to use my silicone glue spreader, which needs to be washed. I think I'm going to put paper under here, under the edge, so it doesn't go everywhere when I do this. Okay, now there's my lace. Just going to put it about like that on there, sticking out just a little bit. This probably is going to be a thick page when I get finished with putting wallpaper on it and everything. Okay, and the next piece I'm going to put on is this brown, and I'm just going to cover up over to this edge and then tear off the bottom part. So I think I will glue the page and then just put this down on there. And I'm going to use my glue stick for that, which is Elmer's Craft Bond Extra Strength Glue Stick. And this one is about gone. Whoops. They start coming out of the container when you have it all the way rolled up to the top. But there's still a little glue in there. Okay. I may have to put some Fabri-Tac under the edge of that to get it to stick down. I believe I am going to have to do that. First thing I'm going to do, though, is tear off this end down here. And I may just let it stick out just slightly below the page edge. Like that. And this wallpaper's probably been rolled up for I don't even know how many years, since it probably was just put away at some point after it was put on the walls, and still too much and too good to throw away and never looked at again. I guess there's a life lesson there somehow. For me, it would be not to hoard things so much. But on the other hand, if they hadn't done that, I wouldn't have it to play with now, so I'm glad they kept it. Give that a chance to glue a little bit there. I don't know what rooms these wallpapers were used in. I'm guessing this tan one was probably a living room wallpaper because it kind of has that look about it that's a little more formal, although I doubt that it was very formal at all in their house. Okay, Be nice if one of these was rolled the other way and have a little pushback on that. And I'm just going to put this one with a little bit of the brown showing there, and like that, I do believe. So I'm going to put glue stick on it, and then I think I'm going to need to put Fabri-Tac on it as well. Okay. Not everybody likes wallpaper on their walls, but back then, I don't guess there were that many choices of how to decorate your house with. I mean, I guess you could paint, but wallpaper was kind of a nice option to get some design in your home. And some of them were quite elaborate and decorative. These are probably pretty tame compared to a lot of the floral prints and things. Okay. Don't roll up on me. Just put a little glue across the top and down the side. And maybe a little bit in the middle too, so it won't pop up. Okay. I left a little more showing at the top than I had originally thought I would, but I kind of like that. Except I wish it was a little bit further over that way. And what I thought I would do, and I'm going to have to make some copies of these photographs, but this paper was from my husband's family, and this is his mom, some old pictures of his mom and his sister, and I think what I'm going to do is take one of these, and she looks so sad in that picture, take it to the library and reduce the size of it so it doesn't cover up so much of the page, and then just glue it on the page there. I haven't decided which one, but I think that's what I'm going to do to finish it up. And I guess I need an 8 on this page somewhere to indicate that this was prompt 8. I'm back to do some more work on this page, the wallpaper page. And after I've thought about it for a little bit, I decided to use this page as part of the challenge too, to have a spread instead of just a single page. And what I'm going to do, this is the second piece of wallpaper, and I decided I wanted to show a little bit more of it as well. And I'm going to glue it onto this flap of this page as a pocket. And then I will be able to slip a photograph in this pocket. And then what I've done is I've made copies at the library of these pictures so that I can glue or do whatever I want to with them. And this is the one, I reduced this one, I reduced both of them just a little bit so they wouldn't take up quite as much space in the book. And I used my vintage photo and this makeup brush to kind of distress this a little bit and make it look more like the original instead of just like, let's see, I've got another picture here somewhere. Okay, these pages are show what the copy looks like. I made several sizes of this one. So this one is this picture, and this is how black and white it looks, and I wanted it to look a little more aged. It's not real smooth, but I think when I cut it back just a little bit, I'm going to glue it to this card to make it stiffer, more like a photograph would be. And when I trim the edge back, I think it'll look more like a photograph. So that's what I've done. I did that already to this picture. And it looks, it's a little darker with the vintage photo than this is. But I think it'll be okay. And I decided to use this picture, even though I think his mom looks really sad in this picture, because of this wallpaper behind her, just because that is a great example of wallpaper also. And John said that she might not have been feeling good that day. She had some health issues about that time of her life, and so maybe she just didn't feel very good. She was always such a a wonderful, jolly person, and you just love being around her because she was always happy and just fun to be around. Anyway, I'm going to get on with this. And what I'm going to do first is glue this picture to this card and bring over my glue page here. And I broke out a new, oh, it's already getting stuck up together. New Elmer's Glue Craft Bond Extra Strength Glue Stick, because my old one is down to the bottom of the barrel. So I'm just going to glue this pretty well on the back and around the edges particularly. Hopefully it won't pop up. Oops, wrinkling. It'll just give it a little aged appearance, I guess. And this is just a 3x5 index card. Try to get that on there straight so that it will be a little easier to cut. And where's my card? There's the card. I don't think I cut that very straight right there, so I'm going to have to cut it back a little more. And I'm going to stick this under my mat to let it kind of get flattened out while I glue this down on this flap. What I did already is I took a little strip of this wallpaper and reinforced this edge because it has these holes. And if it's going to be a pocket between this and this, it needs to be a little stronger so that it doesn't tear. Okay, so I just need to glue this on 3 sides, and about to there, and about to there. So I'm going to use Fabri-Tac on this. Fabri-Tac. And just put enough to glue the edge down. Hopefully it will hold well. And I'm going to just drag that off the edge a little bit so it's not too much coming out when I place it down. And I want the wide edge at the top. And I like this little double stripe here, so I'm trying to leave that on there on the ledger paper. Just put it on there like that. I don't know how this is going to look when I get finished with it, but we'll see. That's kind of cute. This piece of ledger paper I coffee dyed, so it looks different from this one, but I'm okay with that. I think it looks a little more interesting that way. So that is that. And I have, what I did for this is I used my 1-inch hole punch, and I punched out several pieces of just packaging. It was from a little white thin box, and punched out these and glued 4 pieces together. And then I punched out a piece of the wallpaper and glued it on top. So I have a little, and I inked the edge with ground espresso to just make it dark and make it stand out better. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do, I want to put this 8 on there, but I think what I'm going to do is leave it with the edges kind of loose a little bit so there's a little more dimension there, and just glue this left side edge, and then I'll be able to slide a photograph behind it. Maybe slide it where it's not on her head there. And then I will slide the other photograph, the one I'm doing, that one, into the pocket here. And then I can write here a little bit about Beulah's wallpaper and the pictures. This picture is probably somewhat contemporary to the wallpapers, more so than the one. This was when he was in the Army. This is from 1941, and I don't know where they were. I think they might have been in St. Augustine, Florida. But the way the trees look, that's the only reason I think that. And that's John's sister. And John wasn't born yet. He wasn't born until after the war. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue this down and use Fabri-Tac again. just a little bit kind of in the middle, I think. And I want I've got shadows today. I like the blue on that, so I'm going to leave it kind of showing there. And just wait till the Fabri-Tac dries a little bit before I move on with that. The 8 is for the prompt number. Prompt 8 is wallpaper in the junk journal, July. Okay, I'm going to put this where when I slide it, she's kind of centered on the page. I think this is a good solution. I thought about gluing the picture down or clipping it on with a paper clip or something, but I like the idea of it being able to be removed and then you can look at the paper, because I wouldn't want to live with this paper on the walls, frankly, but I think it's pretty. It's got gold in it, and I don't know, it's just kind of very typical of that time period. I'm not sure exactly what time period it was, but whatever it was, this was typical of it. Just kind of a general, almost a mod kind of look. I still think it was 40s or 50s on this paper, but I'm guessing on that completely. So anyway, I think this is dry enough that I can glue it down. And I'm just gonna glue the edge over. Let's see, I want it to be straight, so I'm just gonna glue enough on this edge that it will hold and still be able to slide the photograph under it. I think right about there would be good. And I'm just going to hold that until that glue adheres. Hopefully that will be strong enough to keep it from popping off. And also hold the photograph in place when I put it on there. Fabri-Tac is a pretty strong glue, so hopefully it will be sufficient to do that. This is probably going to make this very chunky because of this thick board here, but I'm okay with that. I don't mind a chunky journal. I kind of like it. This little after supper journal is turned into various things. I have some of the challenges, and these are just some little pieces, a ticket and things that I put in this Tim Holtz pocket with slots on it so that you can put little ephemera items in there. So that's what I did with that. Put that right there. Actually, I put it better down below. And what else do I have in here? It's a little scrap pad I made with just some various kinds of paper. And that's just a piece of scrapbooking paper that's stuck behind it. Just various things. We made that card together. And that's a die cut that I did on an envelope and made a pocket. Put a photograph or something in there. It's one of my paintings I did on Book Page, following Roxy Creations, Rachel's idea. Okay, back to this. Let's see how we're doing here. Seems to be adhering. Hopefully it will be strong enough to hold that picture behind it. I think I'm going to put this little clamp on it just for right now while it glues. That'll make it stay stronger. Okay, and then we have this. Let's see, I put my picture under there. I think that's glued down well enough now that I can trim it out. I'm just gonna, this line is where the copier picked up the edge of the page, or the edge of the picture. So that's what I'm gonna cut along as best I can. I'm not very good at cutting straight with scissors. But they say if you go slow and look out toward the end more of where you're cutting rather than right where you're cutting, that it works better. Although right there, I have to look at that. Okay, take it slow and look out there at the where you're going, not where you've been. Oops, I think I made that corner too. It doesn't matter too much because these pictures have been around for so long, and even the original is kind of beat up in places. So I could just call it age on the edge of the photographs. I really love old photographs. I think they are so interesting, and so many of these that John's dad took while he was in the Army, or he was pretty good about writing something on the back, but it might be something like, "This is farmland near where we are." And we don't know where he was at that particular time, where that farmland was, but he probably did that because back then, when in the war, during the war, they couldn't say where they were particularly, and he probably was maybe even pushing his luck to say, "This is farmland near where we are," and not reveal any information that was classified. But now it would be great to know where those pictures were made. And there's some with old cars in them that are so interesting. I just love them. I think I need to trim that edge just a teeny bit more. That went too far. Okay. This one I think I'm gonna put in this pocket. I'm not positive about this. That doesn't show very much of what it is when it's in the pocket, but I guess that's okay too. Kind of a little build of interest of what is this? Or I could put it in this way. And their faces show that way. But then the back of the card is there, just white. So maybe I need to make the backs of those cards, put a little vintage photo on them to make them a little aged as well. What I've been doing with this is putting it on there in, oops, that's the wrong one. I don't want it to be too brown. Getting disorganized here. Just ink the brush, and then let's start over here. Just start outside of where you want to age it, so that it doesn't cause those swirls like I got right there. I got a little bit too much on there that I didn't want. So just it will get the edge a little more than the other part of it, but I think it just needs a little bit of toning down that bright white, which wouldn't be how it would look. So it's I wish I'd copied that to have on there too, but I didn't. But it's, I mean, the color is not too, that's kind of dark, but otherwise it's not too far off of what the original was. And I'm gonna give that just a little more right there on the edge. It's hard to get it smooth, or it is for me anyway. Maybe it's practice. That it's what it takes to get it to look right. And I'm gonna do this one too. See, I messed up there. Started on the picture instead of on the paper outside. I don't know why that works, but it does to not make those kinds of blobs. Some tip I picked up from someone that I can't even credit because I don't know who I heard it from, but I think it's a great idea. Okay, we have our photographs. They look relatively aged. see if I got it straight. It could be straighter. This goes out a little bit there. I may trim that off just a tiny bit more if I can do it without messing it up. I guess if I mess it up, I mess it up. It's not the end of the world. It is just paper, even though it's got an image on it that I care for. I think this is a sweet picture of the three of them, and kind of bittersweet because he was in the service. They were together for a little while, and I'm sure he was in the process of being sent off somewhere else. He served in the European theater and was wounded. He received a Purple Heart, as a matter of fact. I never knew him. It makes me sad that I didn't get to know his dad. I'm sentimental. What can I say? Okay, let's see how this is doing. It has a little give to it. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know what I'll do if it doesn't work. I guess I could always put some that clip on top of it. I kind of like that. If it'll stay, I mean, if it'll hold that in. She's a sweetie pie. And then I haven't decided what I'm going to do about this. Do I want it like that? It's kind of boring. This way you can't really see too much of them because it has to go too far in to close. I suppose I could put something else in the pocket the other way around. To kind of give that some interest. I have these other photographs. I don't know what I would put there. I'll have to think about that, I suppose. This is a picture of his dad when he was, it was a training center. I gathered from what was written on some of the back of some of the photos. I think for now, I will just stop and think about what else I'm going to do here, if anything else. Seems like that just needs a little something on it too, but I don't know what it needs. Maybe a quote would be good, just something going across there. And I still think I want to put another picture in that going the other way. It's the original of that one. Or this one is small. But we're not sure this is John's mom. It's so tiny we can't tell. Anyway, I'm going to stop the camera and I may come back and show you what I've done in a minute. I went ahead and finished off camera. I added a quote here that says, "She merely went on with life." And that's kind of what Beulah did. She took what came at her and continued living and did well with it. And then I added a couple of photographs in here. I made these two to go with this one. And added those in just so there would be something on this side showing other than something blank. And then I put this one facing the back. And I'd like to put something on the back of those that I may go back to the library and copy the back of those that have a date or anything on them. These up here. And then I just wrote about the prompt being wallpaper and not expecting that it would take me into the story of John's parents and during the war and after, and that the photos just show a snippet of their lives during that time. And the wallpaper represents home and peacetime after they after the war was over. And I included this picture of her with this wallpaper as just another example of the wallpaper of the time. So that's my prompt wallpaper for Junk Journal July. I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. This was a very satisfying layout to do, and I'm pleased with the way it turned out. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.